Welcome to Savor the Story podcast, where books and snacks are life. I'm Nicole.
And I am Vanessa.
And welcome.
Hello. I switched it up a little bit.
Yes, I like your soothing voice.
Like a radio voice.
Yes,
I feel like I always say it like a question. Like, I am Vanessa.
Who am I?
So
which one am I?
Yeah, so I wanted to say it with a period this time.
Pronunciation.
Yes.
Or what is it? Not pronunciation. Enunciation.
Yes. Yes.
Grammar is important.
That's right. That's funny. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm great. I am beyond happy to be back home. So.
Well, you had quite the adventure for the last 2 weeks, not just last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've decided that this is how another way that I know that I'm old is like
great.
They're like,
add
hey,
it to the list.
Yeah. They're like, hey, can you leave your house? And I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Maybe?
My grass is growing. Children may run across it. I have to be there.
That's right. Who else is going to tell them to get off my lawn?
So yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
so, yeah, you went straight from one trip up north for the cabin and for work to another work trip to Oklahoma City.
Yes.
How fun for us. Except for this time I was with you.
Yes, so that was nice. But
yeah.
I would say, like, also last week, I know we had to record early. We recorded last week's episode, like, I think a day early or 2 days early because of we would be traveling on the day we normally record. So this week on top of that just felt like it was longer than normal.
So long.
Like
so long.
This is just my life now where I'm just like, my weeks are like delineated by our recording
But when
schedule.
we record. Yeah.
So like you add 2 days to the front end and I'm like, why is this week so long?
That is true. I feel like I do the same thing with our recording schedule, and now it's like, how many books can I fit in before we record, especially if we're recording early? I'm like,
yes.
My whole life is like scheduled by that now.
Yeah. And because we got, like you said, because like, how many books can I read before? I was like, man, I'm going to get 2 extra book reading days. And you know what I was doing at fucking midnight last night? Finishing up my second book because I have to have 2 books.
Why do you have that anxiety? Get rid of that shit.
I know. Like, I know. I don't know what it was. It's because I was so close.
I think I might celebrate the day that you come in and only have 1 book.
It'll never happen.
I know, because you're going to like stay up. You're going to be like, I can't record for another 4 hours.
Like, tomorrow's recording day. I must stay awake.
No, I need you to let that go. Maybe on episode like 102, you'll be like, all right, I can settle down now.
Okay.
All right, great.
Episode 102. I'll think about it.
Okay.
We'll readdress this conversation.
Okay. So. Take that note.
So.
Yeah.
I'll make it part of my next year's goals is 2 books a week for the whole year. So it'll never happen.
Okay, great. It'll just be me. That's fine. You know what? I accept this. I accept being the failure of the 2 of us.
No, you do all the back end work, so I have to hold us up somewhere.
Okay, great. So you got to finish 2 books then while we were well, not while we were traveling.
Right. So I actually read 3 books last week because of I had to read New Moon for bonus bites.
Yes.
And so I think that was the extra pressure because I even said last time, I was like, I'm not going to wait until the last minute. And
then you had to take it with you on the plane.
I had to take it with me to OKC. I was reading it in the airport. I was reading it in the room. I was carrying a copy of New Moon around as a 40-year-old woman.
You know what? That's okay. Because when they came out, people were every single age was doing the same thing. So it is okay.
Okay.
Yeah, OKC was what a delightful time we had.
Yes. I can say that I've learned 2 things about Oklahoma City.
Okay.
The first one is they have the longest traffic lights. Why?
And we had to stop at all of them.
We literally had to stop at all of them. And everything is so beige.
Beige, yes.
Yeah, like it's like that weird beige tan color, like sand, buildings, the highway, buildings, the sky. No, the sky was very blue, but like it was just...
It's because you're coming from a place that is got so much color. There's so much green and like everything here that when
fall
you go to
colors.
places, yes. Oh yeah, now fall colors. When you go to places like that, it's like they don't have it. So it just looks very bland. It feels like home to me.
So you were like, oh, this is so nice.
This is wonderful. Yeah, it feels like the desert. Just brown everything. But yes, you are correct. Those are 2 facts about OKC, and that's about all we can say about it because there wasn't much else to report.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, plus we were there for work. I don't even think we really got a chance to scope out like bookshops or anything like that. It was like work, went and got dinner, and then I was like, worked out, and then I was like, I'm so tired.
Yep. So. But we were still good. We still got our workouts in. We still got reading in. We still were responsible humans.
Yeah. We did get to go out and have dinners, which I would say I felt everywhere that we went was like average dining experience. Like
I agree.
But I know I'm limited in saying that because I am a vegetarian, and everybody was like, "We need to get their barbecue."
Oh, that's true. Yeah, everybody wanted the Oklahoma barbecue. Yeah, I don't care about that really. Barbecue's just all right to me. Whatever. But I mean, well, it's good we skipped out on that night. We let everybody else do that because we were there with like 15 people. So it's not like we left anyone alone.
Right. Like, figure it out yourself.
No. Yeah. We had a massive group of us. So it was so fun.
Yeah. It's like they didn't even notice.
They did not.
Well, it's like not taking your mother. You know what I mean? Like,
that's right.
They're like, let's get out of here before mom wakes up from her nap. Like,
we are the old ladies of the group. So that's true. Yeah. How sad for us.
I'm fine with this, actually.
Okay. All right, that's fair. I'm sad then.
Okay, sorry, you're sad.
That's okay. I just think about early in my career when I was the one that was the young one. I was the one that was like the 20-something, and I was like around all these old fogies, and now I am the old fogey.
You were there leading the charge, and now you're like, being left behind.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't have any sadness about it.
I definitely don't.
It's okay. It's fine.
Yep.
But because of that, because we were gone all week, we didn't really have like a lot of opportunities for snacks. However, I think I'm gonna have my snack this week be those muffins that we had in our meetings. We had every day in our meetings they brought in Costco muffins.
Yeah, Costco muffins.
The lemon raspberry ones. Oh my goodness. I was not on my diet all week last week. I ate like 4 of those. They were so good.
Yes.
I would eat a whole case of them if I could. So lemon raspberry muffins are my snack this week.
Yeah, those were definitely the superior ones. Because they also had the chocolate ones, which I didn't try. But then they had, what else did they have? They had the blueberry, which was pretty good because I enjoy blueberry. Then the pumpkin
there was
ones. I was sad. the streusel was delicious on the top, but the muffin itself was pretty dry, which is outrageous for a Costco muffin.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. So
I'm sad you only ate like half of that one and then pushed it away.
I know. Which was probably really good, like in hindsight, like this muffin, I don't need 1,000 calories of muffin. Right. But like, man, was I sad at the time.
Yeah, that's fair.
But we both did have a similar snack. It may not be the one that you chose for this week's rating, but we both did have a similar snack.
Okay.
I noticed. We just got it at wildly different locations.
Okay.
So that first night we went to that bar and got bar food.
That's right.
And I got those churros.
Yeah.
And then like the next day we went to Subway and you got the
footlong.
The footlong churro.
It was terrible.
Aww.
It was not good. Don't get churros at Subway. I mean, I don't know why someone needed to tell you that, but in case you wanted someone to tell you that, they're not good.
Yeah. It didn't look very cinnamony.
No.
Like, it looked beige.
It really didn't have anything. It didn't really have flavor. It was like I could taste sugar and that was about it. It was very disappointing. It's very disappointing when you take up all those calories and it's not even like fulfilling or delicious. So I'm very disappointed all the way around.
Yeah. And it's not like, I don't know, do they have things like caramel or something you can dip it in? I don't even know. Or is
I don't
it
think
just
so.
Like a foot-long churro?
No, just a foot-long churro.
Oh, that's even more sad. Because like putting them in like ice cream or caramel.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. So, sorry, I was yawning. Caught me in the middle of a yawn. So yeah, my churro experience was probably better than yours. Yeah. But I didn't even, I don't know what my deal was. I think it was because I had taken a whole bunch of like, not Benadryl. I had taken a whole bunch of Dramamine. It was like, So by the time we got there, I was just like exhausted. And like, what do you want to eat? French fries and churros.
Yeah. You did have quite the dining experience.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
that's funny. Well, and I did not try the ones there, so I can't compare them. But
yeah, they were pretty good. They had like a cream center.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
It was like a maybe cream cheese center or something.
Okay.
It was okay.
All right. Is that your snack this week?
No.
Oh. Tell me what it is.
Okay, I will. So, do you remember our friend David told us about the creamy, his and his wife's favorite thing to make in the creamy? It was pineapple juice, and then you slushy it up, and then you put like crushed pineapple in it and chunky it again. I did that, but I put, to make it extra healthy, I'm using air quotes here, I added the clear lemonade powder to the pineapple juice, and then we put, did the whole thing up, and then we put the crushed pineapple in, and
clear protein powder?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was the protein one.
Yes, it is the clear protein lemonade powder. Yeah. So I had like one of those single packs, and I put that in there, and it turned out delicious. Really? So it was really good.
All right.
So I am rating in pineapple slushies today.
All right. I don't know if I would have made the decision to mix the lemonade flavor with the pineapple. That seems a little adventurous.
Yeah, it was the closest one I had, because I think the only other one I had is like blue raspberry or raspberry lemonade, maybe. Okay. So, or lemon lime, maybe? No, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go look. So,
all right. Well, I'm glad it turned out to be delicious.
Yes, I messaged David today, and I was
I was
like, A+ on snacks.
Excellent. Well, that's good. I probably won't try that, but maybe I'll make Tim try it.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was nice that it wasn't like ice cream.
Oh, yeah. It was more slushy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's good. I feel like because we just had a work trip this week, we didn't have like a lot of stuff to talk about up front. So I feel like we're already ready for book talk. Are you?
Book talk?
Is there? Well, our book discussions.
Book talk. See what you did there? I heard book talk, not book talk.
Talk. Yeah.
God, your accent is getting out of control.
I do not have an accent.
Okay.
Do I have a California thing?
No.
Oh.
But every once in a while, it's like maybe my brain hears it off.
You can't understand me because I talk like a weirdo. It's all right. I accept it. All right. Yes, our book talk conversation. Do you want to go first with your two? Or...
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, I will. I would love to. All right. So, like I said earlier, I finished 3 books this week.
Mm-hmm.
I have already spoken about my experiences with New Moon. So, when that comes out in a couple weeks, you guys are going to have to give it a listen.
Nope. That's already out when this comes out.
Scratch that. If you haven't, go back and listen to...
It came out on November 1st.
I was trying to remember the name.
Oh,
Book Bonus Bites. Yeah, go listen to Bonus Bites too. And
yes,
you'll hear everything there is, all my thoughts on New Moon. Yes. But so since I said it there, I'm not going to talk about it here, obviously. Yep. Just know that it was part of my week. So this book I've been working on for 2 or 3 weeks now, just getting it in between other books. Mm-hmm. Why I stopped it, I think it's because of two different reasons, but like I read a couple weeks ago Empire of Shadows. Mm-hmm. And this is Tomb of the Sun King is the second book in that series.
I didn't even realize that you haven't talked about book 2 yet, and you started it immediately after. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I want to know what the reasons are why it took you so long to finish it. I can't wait.
Okay. So one, I blame New Moon.
Okay, fair.
So that was one reason. Mm-hmm. And then I think it's just because it's initially a slow start. So I started it right away and it was just kind of slow. And I started probably 2 or 3 other books at the same time. And it just got lost in the level of like interesting. So not because of the book, it's just because slow start, you know. So yes, second book, Following Empire of Shadows. It's by Jacquelyn Benson. I read this as a physical copy, and just like the other one, it's a historical fantasy and a fiction, I guess. So I can, now that I've read this book, confirm that there will be a book 3.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Does it have a date?
It says late 2025.
Okay.
I poked around a bit online, and some people were saying maybe October.
Okay.
So, but the reason I chose this to talk about first is because this is officially my 100th book read of the year.
Oh!
Yay!
I wish I had some music. Wah, wah, wah.
Like confetti.
Yes.
If I would have thought about it, I would have bought one of those poppers.
Yes.
So.
Yay. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. I set a goal of 50 books this year, and I'm there. So, great. Times 2. Yeah. So, yes. So, hooray. So, that's the only reason I talked about this one first, is because it's my 100th, and then the next book is actually my 101. Okay. So, this book picks up right where you left off in the previous book with Ellie and Adam. They have, in the previous book, saved this very important, saved is
Okay,
You know,
in quotes.
in quotes. It's kind of a matter of interpretation. They've saved one artifact, but they found out that there are others that need to be saved as well. So they go to Egypt, and coincidentally, the place that they need to go in Egypt to find this next artifact is also a site where her brother, her stepbrother, is currently on a dig. So because of that, you meet her brother. He's introduced into the story. Her best friend is there.
The one that you love.
The one that I love. Her she is described as petite and feisty.
Okay.
And I like that. And she really is. So so her stepbrother is introduced, her friend is introduced, and there's a whole bunch of other characters that are also introduced via those two people. And her brother is described as kind of almost like Adam is described as like have you ever seen The Mummy? Brendan Fraser's character. He's almost described pretty similar to that.
Okay.
Whereas now her stepbrother is described as like the complete opposite. So he's kind of a worrier, and he's also highly academic. So two different sides there. So anyway, they travel through I almost said Europe. They travel through Egypt. And so basically they're just, for most of the book, they're trying to stay or get ahead of that team of villains who they faced off from in book one. And so because this artifact that they're looking for is incredibly powerful, and it has to be saved basically at all costs, it's kind of, the main character kind of has a little bit of like, no, because, hiding, moving, disturbing artifacts in history, that's kind of her main, like, I don't like to do that. So she kind of has a little bit of a internal debate going on there, and so does everybody.
Is she she's a archaeologist kind of person, or like historian? Oh,
no,
she just doesn't she just has strong feelings about it.
Yeah. So one of the main things about the book in book one and book two is she is highly intelligent, and I would say her memory is almost like photographic, if that makes sense. Like she can read it and then she just remembers forever. So she's always had she always has wanted to do digs, and that's what she wants to be, an archaeologist and stuff like that. Okay. But because of the time frame, women are not allowed to do that kind of stuff. So she's that's one of her struggles in both books, actually. Okay. So yeah, I don't want to tell much more about the book because I don't want to give away the storyline. Yeah. Go ahead.
Were there more parallels that you found because in the first one you explained that it was very much like Indiana Jones and stuff like that. Did you get the same vibes?
Yeah, a little bit. I would say this one is closer, and probably just because of location and Adam's similarities to The Mummy. I would say it had more like The Mummy vibes, but it wasn't like the first book where it was like, is that from another
where you had else? Like a straight rip off almost.
Yeah, so it wasn't like it. I didn't sense any of that like the first time. So, but yeah, so I guess, like I said earlier, this one took me a little bit longer to get through. I don't think it was really the book's fault. I think it was just, like I said, when I picked it up and other things that had priorities maybe that I had going on. But I enjoyed all the new characters. All the characters that were introduced were great. Good. I guess one of the things that I wasn't sure about was I wasn't sure how I felt about the progress of Ellie and Adam's relationship building. It was kind of like one of those things where they're they have conflicting emotions. Like, they both know that they want to be together, but they have conflicting emotions of how they should be able to make that possible.
Okay.
Like, Ellie is not really pro marriage.
Okay.
So like, but because of like the time, it's kind of one of those things where, you know, it's expected.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of that. So a lot of their problems were because of that. And
Okay.
I don't actually feel like anything really got solved.
More for book 3.
Right. So they kind of talked about it back and forth, but I don't think anything really, like, yes, everything felt like it was maybe just setting up for the continued maybe issues to continue in the next book.
Right.
And it's still a very closed door romance.
Okay.
If I know they've like had some romantic entanglements, but I don't think they've actually ever had like sex.
Okay.
And I think in this book it's implied.
Okay.
But it's definitely not described.
Okay.
So very closed door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I ended up, once you get through the first part and you're introducing all the new characters and like setting the scene or whatever, I actually really enjoyed the progress of this book more than the last one.
Oh, okay.
So the characters really made the book, and I don't know, it just felt like there was more going on than in the first one. So also the ending leaves you open. Obviously, I said there's a book 3.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a third book. But I also kind of took it as there could be more than a third book.
Oh.
Because it's like, oh, we don't know what these villains are going to do. But, oh, hey, can you go do me a favor over here?
Oh.
So it's like, are the villains going to show up at the favor?
Right.
Or are you guys going to go do this favor and then come back to a fourth book where you're going to meet the villains again?
Okay.
I have no clue. I kind of think it's probably going to be that first option where they go out to do this favor and the villains are just there.
They just show up.
Right. So maybe more of a convenience thing for that, because I don't know many people who write more than like 3 books in a series now. I know there are some out there, but
Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah, I know. we don't talk about her.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's entirely within the realm of possible, but I guess I would be surprised.
Okay.
But yeah. So, but it sounds like all of the characters from book 2 will be in book 3.
Nice.
Which is very nice.
Yeah, that's good since you love them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I initially rated this book a 4, but
Okay.
I would say it's definitely higher than a 4, but lower than a 5.
Okay.
So somewhere in the 4 to 5 range.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So my next book.
Mm-hmm.
This is the book that I finished last night at like midnight.
Okay.
So
The one that you forced yourself to have book 2.
I didn't even have to force. I really enjoyed this book. I was happy to read it. But the only reason that I got through it, I think, is, I didn't talk about this in my week. Because I was in the puppy ER yesterday for like 4 hours, I had a lot of time to read. So
that's true.
While I was waiting on, waiting on to hear about poor little Remy. Mm-hmm. So anyway, sorry to make that sad. The book was really great.
Well, we should also, before you move on, say that Remy is okay now. You're just like, he was in the emergency room. Okay, we're done.
Keeping it so you guys come back. No, I'm just joking.
He's okay.
He's okay. He's a good dog. Yeah, he had an adventure yesterday and he is recovering. Yes. He is on all the puppy meds and he's laying on a heat blanket right now. He feels no pain.
That's right.
I can tell you, the dog has no cares. Before we sat down to record, I gave him a piece of chicken jerky and he was in puppy heaven.
He's like, yes, thank you, Mom.
Yes. He's like, I'll be good.
Yes.
So,
okay.
All right. So
crisis
now you
averted. Can go. Yes.
Now I can talk about my book.
Yes.
So this one is called The Song of Six Realms. It is by Judy Lynn. And I talked about Judy Lynn a couple weeks ago when I read her 2 books, the Tea series.
Yeah.
It was A Magic Steeped in Poison and Venom Dark and Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed that duology. When I saw this one came up on Kindle Unlimited, I was like, I'm reading it because I really liked the other ones. So they, like I said, Kindle Unlimited. This one, if you want to call it like a fantasy, definitely a fantasy. They say it's a romance. I'll get into that.
Okay.
So just to start off, I have to apologize up front to Judy Lynn because I am going to mispronounce some names.
Oh no.
I'm really sorry about that.
Okay.
So the main character, her name is Shia, and I know I'm not putting the ending affliction or inflection right. So she is a musician, and she's orphaned very young, and her uncle basically accepts her and it takes care of her. Now she's also, when she's orphaned because her parents are executed for being traitors. Ooh. So she also has that stigma attached to her.
That was a dark turn.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's very sad. So when her uncle apprentices her, they call it an apprenticeship, but it's actually more of like an indentured servitude almost, because like the only way she can get out of it is if she like pays off her debt or something, or like somebody releases her from that contract. And this is where the fantasy comes in, because like you can only really do that if there's magical realms. So there's the mortal realm, there's a celestial realm, and there's like a spirit realm. And if you are accepted into like the celestial realm or the spirit realm or something like that, then, your ties are cut to your mortal realm, obviously.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm not going to get into any more of that because there is literally a lot. Okay. And I could sit here for the next hour and try and explain it. So, but basically her uncle is her only family. The only reason he does it is because he has an inn. So it's actually a better deal than like she probably should have got because of like, her parents.
Because of what they were executed for.
Right. Okay. So unfortunately, early in the book, her uncle dies.
No.
Yes. So, and his last gift to her is an instrument that they call the chin. And I didn't look up what it looks like or anything else like that, but it's like like it sounds like it's an instrument that has strings, and you like pluck the strings and it makes beautiful music. That's how I took it. So fast forward, she is a really wonderful chin player, and she she plays for this entertainment house basically. So one night this gentleman arrives, and he's like, they call him Duke Meng, and he asks for like a personal like play for just me thing, and so she she's told to do it. She does it, and they have like I don't want to say an altercation, but they kind of have like an argument, because she takes it as he's only there because he wants her chin and he wants to buy it, and so she's like, double middle finger, get away from me. And she's like, I'm not doing that. So then the next night he requests her performance again, and of course she's made to do it, so, but in that he's like, hey, I think there's some kind of misunderstanding. I don't want your instrument. I just want you to come to my resident, because remember, he's a duke, very important man. Come to my resident, and you can be my home, and you can be my resident musician at my estate for like a year, and after that year I'll set you free of your I'll get your
servitude.
Right. Okay. And so she's like, oh man, I don't know. Yeah. And eventually she agrees. Okay. Right? So she agrees, and then she quickly finds out that there's something behind that request and there's treachery afoot. So things like she's being like they're attacked by like demon monsters. Yeah. And turns out the Duke is not just like a mortal dude, he's actually a celestial being. And he needs her help.
Why is he in the mortal realm?
Well, he's not supposed to be.
No. He needs her help. He needs her help to get back to the realm.
Right. Okay. Well, no. He takes her to his home in the celestial realm, which is also not allowed. But yes, he needs her help.
Okay.
In that realm.
Gotcha.
And because he's broken rules, not only because there's danger afoot for other reasons, and he needs her help with a favor, and he's broken the rules by bringing her into the celestial realm. Now she's in a lot of trouble on top of that. And
of course,
but she agrees to do this favor and whatever, but it also puts her life in peril. So the book also encompasses that. Now, getting into the book, my book thoughts, because that's all I'm telling you about the book. I really, really liked this book.
It sounds great already.
It is a wonderful book, but there are things that could have been better.
Okay.
One, this is going to be a standalone book.
Okay.
So there's so much information in this book.
Yeah.
And it's only 400 and I think it's only like 400 pages. So the world building is minimal. This book could have easily been 2 books. She could have made it into 2 books.
That's a little unfortunate because especially I feel like fantasy specifically is a little bit harder to do in standalones because a lot of times you have so much to explain, like whether it's magic or other realms or something, like you have to give so much explanation about what's happening in the world. And for it to just be a standalone, you just took like so much of your pages away. So
yeah, agreed.
That's sad.
And then, and because of everything that you said, some parts felt better explained than others.
Okay.
Like I also, because like unpronounceable names for me, or names that I'm not familiar with, I had a hard time remembering that stuff. Yep. So when there's not a lot, like when I don't understand the realms very well, that also didn't help.
Yeah.
Or all the rules, and she doesn't, like the main character doesn't even really understand a lot of the rules either, and it's from her point of view, so it's
that's not helpful.
So it was not very helpful. No. So yeah, I would say in addition to that, because the book is so short, there's not a lot of like character development, or like the characters have maybe like 1 or 2 defining traits, and it kind of just sticks to that same line of like, like, oh, this person is very nice and helpful, so therefore they are nice and helpful to the whole book.
Okay.
So, and then on top of that, I think it was for a reason. I don't think it was like meant to be. She just, most of the like the Celestials and the spirit realm people or whatever, they were very like immature and unlikable. And like I said, I assumed it was, she wrote them that way for a reason. I have a theory. And also another reason I was like, what is going on? The book wraps up in the last 50 pages. So it's like storyline, last 50 pages, we got to get to the end, and the book has to end. Now, I will say I really enjoyed the whole storyline. Okay. And I really enjoyed the last 50 pages and how they wrapped up the whole book. So it wasn't like it took away from anything. But I wish the book could have been longer and maybe explained more character development. Also, like I said in the beginning, it's a romance, or they say it's a romance, but because the characters are not like wildly developed, there's not a lot of romance. Okay. If you're looking for romance, there's not a lot of romance in this book. Okay. There's like, it's like some kissing. It's very sweet. Okay. Like, like how they talk to each other. They're very kind to each other and like very, sweet and nice and, stuff like that. But it's like almost like shy romance.
Okay.
if that makes sense.
I feel like that's a good I feel like I can understand what you're saying with that.
Right. Yeah. And then the ending is very sweet and very sad if you're looking for a romantic love. Right. It's like kind of a sad ending. I don't think this book is a YA book. I don't think it's described as a YA book.
Okay.
But because of like the romance and like I said, like how some of the celestials were explained and like some of the like it felt like it was supposed to be directed towards YA.
Okay.
But it didn't specifically say that in any of the descriptions that I read. So right. I don't know. It could be YA also.
All right.
But yeah, I really like this book. I rated it also between 4 and 5.
Okay.
I would say probably closer to 5 though. I don't think it was a full 5. She might have gotten a 5 if she would have done 2 books.
Oh, yes. Dang Maybe. It. Right. That one sounds really interesting. That one sounds like one that I might want to read.
It was great. I think you would have liked it.
Okay. So I might add that one to my list then.
Nice.
Okay.
And that's it. That's all my bookies.
Okay. Are you ready for this, Nicole?
Yes, that's why I agreed to go first.
All right. So I'm going to tell everyone right now. I'm going full spoilers in this one. I'll tell you. Okay, so I read 2 books. They're both Kindle Unlimited. It's a book 1 and 2. The way that it's written seems like it could be closed at 2, but there's also some things that could happen in a 3rd book. I think it's just a duology. It's the Coven of Bones duology, I'll call it. The first book is called The Coven. The second one is called The Cursed by Harper L. Woods. If you don't want to know about these books, then skip ahead. I'll put timestamps in there. I'm going full spoilers, and I'll let you know it's because I did not like these. And the only way that I can explain everything to you is by going full spoiler. Also, I will say, even if you don't care about spoilers, if you don't like hearing us talk about spicy things, skip this part.
Oh. Let me get more comfy.
Thank you. Okay, so these books are described as being gothic, dark academia, paranormal romance, fantasy. That's what they're like described. Before I tell you anything about these books, I need to give you the definition of what hate read is.
Right.
So a hate read is when someone reads something that they strongly dislike, not because they enjoy the content itself, but because they find pleasure in criticizing or mocking its flaws, essentially getting entertainment from its perceived bad quality or writing style. That is a full definition for you of what I felt the entire time I read these.
I was surprised you started the second book.
So I'll tell you, the main reason why I started the second book is because I was on the airplane when I finished the first one, and the second one was already downloaded, because I had downloaded both of them just in case that was the situation before knowing what the first book was all about.
Gotcha.
I didn't hate like the first half, I will say, of the first book. And then things started going crazy. And then the second one was just, good Lord. Okay, so let me tell you what the trigger warnings are for these. Dubious consent, forced feeding, graphic violence, rough and explicit sexual content, restraint, knife violence, reference to past abuse, and physical harm inflicted to self. So there you go. I will say, the physical harm inflicted to self is not because they're trying to hurt themselves. It's normally because they have to provide blood to whatever they're doing for like magical reasons.
I see. Yep.
So it's not, none of the self-harm is for self-harm reasons.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it follows, reminder, all spoilers. All right. So it follows Willow. First, I should say, you were never going to read these, right? I'm not ruining. Not. Okay, great.
Thank you for caring about me.
You're welcome. Okay, so it follows this girl, Willow. She's 20 years old. She's a witch. Her mother just died. It's how the book starts. Like, her mom dies, and it now means that the wards that her mom was putting up to block her from the witch community are now gone. Like, they're now down, so this witch community can now sense them, sense her, Willow. I will note that her mother faked her own death like 20 years ago because she wanted to leave this community. She wanted to hide from the terrible witch people. So now this witch community can sense her. They want her to join the school, which is called Hallows Grove. And the Hallows Grove has not been open for 50 years because there was a massacre that happened there 50 years ago. And it was a massacre between these people that we'll get into. So all of the witches, when they turn 16 is when that's the age that the witches like come into their power. Okay. So specifically for the male witches, when they turn 16, they have to make a choice between their magic or being able to have a family. They do not allow male witches to keep their magic because ultimately it's because they don't want that much power going to one kid. So only the mother can have pass on her magic. So they don't allow the males with magic to reproduce. It could cause havoc in the witch community, blah, blah, blah. And specifically too, if they're different, so they have different types of power. So like these people might be really good with like air power, and these people might be really good with like earth power. And so the idea is that if you have some from like a male that's earth and a female that's air, and you put them together, then that witch that they have might be like extra powerful. So the whole idea is that the Coven, or the Covenant is what they're called, want to keep it less. They want to control the power, so
like more equally distributed. I gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so then Willow's brother, she has a little brother. He's like 6 years old, and she wants to keep him hidden from Hallows Grove because she wants to keep him from having to make that choice, basically. Well, secret spoiler is her father escaped before he had to make the choice, so he never got rid of his magic, and so Willow is extra special and extra powerful because both her mother and father had power, and they're both, wouldn't you guess it, from the most powerful lines of magic, and they are both the last of their line, which makes now Willow the last of the line in those like family names.
Okay. Yeah.
Whatever.
So basically she has all the power. She
has all the power. Her brother is her stepbrother, so his dad is mortal, human, whatever, no power. Basically, her father raises her to become this weapon. He wants to teach her all the things to eventually go to the school to get vengeance for his sister who was murdered.
Jeez.
They want to help bring down all of the witches, which is the Covenant, who are in power, and they shouldn't be because they're greedy and whatever. Then,
that sounds like a healthy relationship.
So some of the abuse that it talks about in the trigger warning of like references to past abuse is her father abusing her basically teaching her how to fight, teaching her how to seduce men, to teaching her. So
why the fuck didn't he just go fight people?
They didn't know he was alive. They didn't know he had power.
Yeah, but he still could have fought. You think
that
would
be
true. Better?
That's true. No,
he doesn't have power, and then he shows up and he's like, pew, 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 pew.
Exactly.
Like, oh my God, he has power.
No, instead, he fucking teaches her how to seduce this man, because we'll get to him, Mr. Grey Thorn or whatever his fucking name is, to seduce him, because he is the like leader of, they're called the vessels. Okay. And the vessels are who gave the humans power however many centuries ago. And so the idea is that if she seduces him, she'll be able to get him to trust her, and then she can kill him, and it will get all of the power away. Oh, let me fucking tell you, man, it gets crazy. So anyways, so this is the first part I get confused at, is because her mom dies, the wards go down, the school is like, cool, we're going to reopen the school after 50 years. Let's go get her, because we can sense her now. Like, she's the last of the line. Let's go sense her. Let's go get her. They don't know who her dad is, so they only think that she has her mother's powers. Okay, so she they go to get her, and they're like forcibly trying to take her, which I don't understand, because the whole reason that she wants to go and get revenge. So why is she not just going with them? I think it's because she was trying to get her brother to safety beforehand, but that's not how it comes off. It just comes off like this big magic fight, and she's like, no, I won't go. And then all of a sudden she's like, all right, I'll go. It's so fucking weird. Okay, so here's when we meet Gray. He's his name is Alaric Grey Thorn. He's the headmaster. He is a vessel. The vessels are basically like these meat suits. So it's basically like a human body holding a demon.
Okay.
Cool. So these demons are who ultimately gave the witches power, like hundreds of years ago. And now, for the vessels to stay strong and to stay alive, they have to drink the blood of the witches.
Okay. I thought you were going to say they have to have sex with witches. And I was like, okay, I would have believed that too.
Well, when they drink from them, can be very pleasurable. Like,
good. So they're like vampires?
Kind of. The vessels can make the decision. So like, if they want it to be painful, it can be. If they want it to be pleasurable, they can be. They have this thing called the reaping. I can't figure out how often it happens, but I think it's like once a month, where basically in this school, wherever the vessels get to choose which one of the witches they take blood from, and they like mark on their door and just says like, you have been chosen. Tonight you have to be chained up and blindfolded, and the vessel will come in and take your blood. And then so you don't get to know who it was, and you don't it's not ever supposed to be the same vessel, because if one vessel drinks from the same witch for too long, then their blood starts taking over, and then they can share powers, and it's too much. Obviously.
But didn't they give them the powers?
Yeah, but they don't have the same magic that the witches have. Like, this one vessel is who gave it. Like, Gray is the one who like gave it to them. So of course Gray takes a liking to Willow. He's obsessed. Who wouldn't be? Right? It gets explained later, but before it's literally just like excessive. Like, he loves her immediately. He is the exception to the rule. He claims this 100-year-old rule where he is allowed to say no other vessels are allowed to drink from her. Only I am. So then they start sharing powers.
Okay.
So her whole goal, yes, into
like,
going,
not follow rules. I'm cool with this.
Well, he doesn't have to. Well, it's a rule, like it's called
Right.
like
Uh-huh.
Dominion or something like that, where he
Very
claims,
convenient rule.
uh-huh, why
Sorry.
has no one else done this? So her whole goal of going here is for like revenge, to like dismantle the Covenant, and to destroy the vessels, right? So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that's what the whole story is about. But right off the bat, I don't think this is my cup of tea, right? It's not my kind of smut. It's not my kind of romance. It's not whatever. I haven't really read too much of like of dark romances. So I guess I don't really know like my true feelings about it, because I can't base it on these books because it is not written great. Like the writing just it needs editing. Like I think you can kind of tell that maybe they're independently published. So that it needs some editing. It needs some like just like all the way around. Okay, so one of the first things that I struggled with is a pet peeve that I didn't know I had.
Nice.
Every single time Willow said anything like fuck you, fuck that, just the word fuck, Gray responds with some sort of response as if she is offering. So like she says fuck you, and he says I'm trying. Or like I will, or like I thought I was supposed to buy you dinner first, like some bullshit like that. Like the phrase fuck you is not an offer.
Yeah, like calm down there.
Yes, and it really bothers me. I feel like I've seen it before, not as excessive as this, but that to me is like you're just trying to find ways for him to say things like that to her. Because to me, like that phrase, saying any of that is not an offer. It's literally she saying, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you right now. And he's like, oh, I thought I was supposed to buy you dinner. Okay, go away. Stupid.
I am not in the mood.
No. Second, I do not like books where the characters are just constantly lying to each other, keeping secrets from each other. Like at some point, this like dynamic that you have has to change. It has to, like, you can't just keep putting them together and being like, these two people are gonna fall in love and be together or whatever, and they just keep secrets and keep lying to each other. They're just like continuously trying to stab each other in the back. Like each of them is using the other one. Like Willow is trying to seduce him so that she can kill all the Covenant and the vessels, and he is trying to use her because she is the only way that he can open the seal to get to the underworld.
Okay.
So here we are at that part. At the end of book 1, Gray uses Willow to open the seal because her magic, her bloodline, is the only bloodline that can reopen this seal. And he wants to reunite his like soul or consciousness or whatever with his body. His body is still in the underworld.
Okay.
What the demon that's inside the like vessel, they don't
want to be.
Well, they don't have, like, they can't love, they can't have real feelings because their soul is technically in their body that's in the underworld. It's basically just their like their thought, their mind is here in this realm.
Okay.
So he gets reunited with his body, and can you guess who he is? He is Lucifer Morningstar.
Oh, come on.
So
right,
he is the devil. He also brings more of like his archangel demons up into the world. He wants him and Willow to rule over everyone together and to bring it back to how everything was supposed to be.
Of course he does.
Yes. Also, somehow it ends, and this is how book 2 kind of starts too, is that they're married somehow in this demon world. So her magic allows her to walk in dreams with her family members.
Okay.
Apparently. So she has this dream. The timeline is very weird. She has this dream when she's at the school, and in this dream she is talking to her aunt who was killed. And she sees this like shadowy figure, and the shadowy figure scratches her, and when she comes back she's got these three marks on her back. Well, in this weird timeline, apparently this actually happened like 40 years ago, and it was him killing her aunt, and she just happened to like dream walk into it, and when he marked her, that was him marking her as his mate.
Okay.
40 years in the future. Or whatever it was. Yeah, so then in the second book, it's basically all about how much she's like, oh, he's a terrible person, but like, let's fuck. Like,
all right.
And then he is like, oh, I love you so much. All I want to do is fuck. Like, it's literally just that. It's so frustrating. Her, like, she never makes the turn. Maybe at the very end, like last chapter, but she never makes the turn of like, it's always just like, what can I get from him? What can I do? But she lives in his room because they're essentially like, she's saying like, okay, you say we're married. You marked me. We're married.
Seriously, I accept this.
Go fuck yourself, man. I highlighted two things that I want to point out. At one sentence, she says, okay. he's talking about protecting her, and she's like, I don't trust you, blah blah blah, and he says, the only thing that is important to me is keeping you alive, so can you trust me in that? And she says, I couldn't trust him in the slightest, but I could trust him with that. So you literally can't trust him, but arguably the most important thing is your life, but you can trust him with that part.
Okay. Whatever.
And then there's this other part where literally like they get into an argument and then they make up, and then they literally just like do it all night long, just like all of the sexual things. And she says, all last night has done was prove that I needed to do whatever it took to rid this world of Lucifer. So you literally just like fucked him all night long, and then you're like, yep, all it proved was that I still want to get rid of him.
I still need to kill him.
What?
Okay.
I don't know what else I could tell you. So the reason I say is that I think that there could be a third book is because something happens where they open the seal again, and
sure.
Well, her friend comes in and like cuts her stomach open and is like, bleed onto the thing to open the seal. Opens the seal because they're trying to like send people back. Her friend, like one of her friends, ends up getting stuck in the seal, and then they have to close it. Like she gets pushed in
to the demon world, or in the seal?
No, okay. In the like into hell, basically.
Okay.
One of the demons that she's also fucking. I don't know. Oh, it's Beelzebub. Pretty sure.
Okay.
Jumps in after her to save her, and then ultimately to keep Willow alive, they have to close the seal, and they get stuck in there. So that is the only thing that makes me think that maybe there could be a third one, because they have to try to get them back. But it ends in a way that's very like Lucifer or Gray. She still calls him Gray. And Willow kind of basically get married. So they're already technically married to the demon world, because the way that you get married is he marks her and is basically like, you're married now. But for obviously the humans or the witches, they have to do like a ceremony type thing. Mm-hmm. And they do that at the end. she like says, okay. So it kind of ends in a point to where like, yes, they're now gonna rule in harmony. So but I don't know.
She married him, but does she still want to kill him?
So yes, because I don't think that she ever really made the turn. Like she loves him. I know she loves him, but she doesn't want to love him because he's the devil. And so she has so many conflicting like thoughts and feelings, and it's so frustrating, and I hate it. And so the second book, I did almost DNF at like 50%. Wow. I was very, very close, but I was like, nope, I got to see how this ends. I really wanted her to just make the switch. I think I could have rated it something higher than like a 1 if she had just made the switch, just accept it, just be like, yep, I got it. We can rule together. But no, they literally kept lying to each other the whole time.
That's sad. So let's say a third book comes out in like, let's call it 6 months to a year. Okay. A third book comes out and you saw it. Would you read it? Or would you be like, no, too traumatic?
I might hate read it.
Okay. That's fair.
I might hate read it. But I also might be okay. I still want to know like if she ever really does make the switch. So maybe I could find like a really detailed review of it. And I could read that. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. This one was I know my part was a lot longer than it usually would be. But I just had so many things about this book.
That's okay.
And I'm sorry.
I feel like we both overtalked on this one, I think.
Okay, that's all right.
So, I accept.
Thank you. So yeah, it's really hard for me to rate them. I think I'll give the first one 2.5. Okay. A little bit more. 2.5 lemon raspberry muffins. The second one, I think we're going with like a 1. It's still something, but I was like this close to DNFing at like 50%, so I feel like I can't rate it higher than a 1.
That's fair.
Okay. All right, are you ready for our discussions?
Yes.
All right. I'll stop talking about this fucking book now. Okay. Do you buy shelf trophies?
Yes. Yeah, actually, I was gonna say it earlier, but I kind of forgot to bring it up. But I don't know if you got the notification, because I know we ordered at the same time. But the shipping notice for the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns ships. And I think it delivers for me on Thursday.
I think mine show Thursday as well.
Yes. So I specifically bought those books to be shelf trophies.
Yes. They're so pretty.
I know. They're gorgeous. I've been very upset for a long time that there hasn't been any hardcovers that I've seen anywhere. And then my sister, I think, showed them to me as like, or it came up, or maybe she showed me a different one. It was like a redesigned softcover, or maybe it's a box set. I don't even remember. But I've been looking for them for a while, and then these came up, and they're so pretty.
We pre-ordered them like months ago.
Yes. I've been waiting for these for a while.
Yes, they're so pretty.
Yes. So, yes, I obviously have that. And I know I have like multiple book subscription services, like Owl Crate, Fairy Loot, or something. Illuma Crate literally came today. Okay. So I have a lot of those, and a lot of those are mostly because the books are pretty. You know, I have yet to read most of them. I was going to say some, but I should say most. But yeah. Yes. Yeah, initial thoughts.
I absolutely buy shelf trophies. Can I tell you though, I'm going to be real honest with you. lately I've been questioning this decision.
Okay.
Because I don't, like, what am I going to do with them? I don't usually reread books.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if it's like a special edition, I'm probably not going to read that one. I'm probably going to read like a Kindle version of it.
Right.
So, like, what am I doing? Why do I need it to be pretty on my bookshelf?
Yeah.
Do we need to have like a therapy session about this?
That's a good point, because I was actually about to ask you that, because like do you read your shelf trophies? Because I was thinking about it when I get, the Shepherd King, the Shepherd King duology. I was like, am I actually gonna read this?
No.
Or am I just gonna like look at it and be like, don't take it out of the plastic and just put it on my shelf?
So because normally when I buy the shelf trophies, it's because I've already read it on Kindle or listened to it or whatever. And so, I mean, it's the same with the ones I just bought, the Divine Rivals. And like, if I ever read them again, I will read them on Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I need this beautiful book cover on my shelf?
Yeah. Right.
So I'll continue to do it. It's not like I'm saying I'm going to stop doing it, but I have been questioning my thought process lately.
Right. So, I mean, I guess in the true aspect of like, let's call it shelf trophies, like you're saying, like I've already read the book. I really enjoyed it. I want to have that copy to look at. I don't have many of those.
Okay.
But I do like for me, like the subscription service books or whatever, I'm not picking that book because I've already read it and I have like an emotional attachment to it. So like most of those books they're still in the wrappers.
So see, I don't know that I would consider those shelf trophies.
And see, that's kind of where I'm going, is like they're very pretty and they're up there, and am I ever going to read them? Maybe. But I doubt, if I don't read them, it's probably not going to be because it's a shelf trophy. It'll be because I have the physical copy. I'm going to read it. And then if I really end up enjoying it, like maybe then it becomes a shelf trophy, but I've already read it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Conundrum.
Yeah, because see, I don't think any of the ones that I have that I would consider shelf trophies, like I've read all of them. I don't think like any of the Owl Crate ones and stuff, if I haven't read them yet, I don't count them as a shelf trophy. So interesting.
Yeah.
Tell us what you guys think a shelf trophy is.
Oh yeah.
Is it a book that, does it have to be a book that you've read before and now you just want it to be pretty on your shelf? Or is it any pretty like special edition book?
Yeah. Because, I specifically said even hardcover for some of these. Like, I mean, if the definition is pretty, is it okay that it's like a paperback? Or, because even go back to like an original edition or like, like something like that. I don't know. So.
All right, I'll put a poll. I'll do a poll in our Instagram.
Great.
Excellent. Do you have any more thoughts on shelf trophies?
No.
Okay, great. So go.
I would like to know if we're missing anything, though. Sorry.
Yes. No, that's
go
okay.
backs. I would like to know if we're missing anything.
Yeah. So yeah, send us a message about it or something. So on our Instagram at Savor the Story Pod, I'll put a poll in there so you can tell us what which one of those options you think a shelf trophy actually is. And then you should also tell us, like send us a message or an email and tell us if you have a completely different definition of what a shelf trophy is. And you can do that by going to savorthestorypod.com and going to the contact form, filling out a little form and sending us an email about that. You can also send us an email about bonus bite stuff, because remember, we still have 2 more Twilight books to go. Any snack recommendations, book recommendations, thoughts on past books that we've read. If you want to tell us how dumb we are for our thoughts on said books. All the things. And then obviously rate us, give us 5 stars on whatever listening platform you are on.
Or thumbs up.
Yes. Follow us so you never miss our episodes. And that's it. The end.
Yay.
Okay.
We're done.
Yay.
It's over. Goodbye.
Bye. Are you okay?
Yep.
Okay.
My eyeball is perfectly fine.
Okay, great.
As I blink dramatically.
You don't need an eyeball for this. It's fine.
Right. I wear an eye patch. Nobody will know.
No one.
Like, maybe she's just being festive for Halloween.
You're in a costume.
Exactly.
A costume.
You with that accent.
I don't know why I said it like that. It just comes out of me.
Man.